¿Qué tal, señores? Bienvenidos. Vamos a ver aquí a la Blancanieves moderna con su demanda por antisexismo masculino. ¿Qué te puedo esperar?
So I'm sure we all witnessed the explosive reaction to the Snow White trailer just a few weeks ago, and I think it is now extremely obvious that Disney's decision to delay the Snow White movie over a year hasn't worked in reducing the backlash for the film at all.
We are screwed.
Hey, I don't want to hear that defeatist attitude. I want to hear you upbeat.
We are screwed.
There you go.
As the reality is, this movie is a ticking time bomb that is doomed for failure and may possibly end up being the most hated movie in Disney history.
A ver, lo que no entiendo de Disney es porque si ellos ya sabían, porque ellos ya sabían, güey. Realmente no son tontos, ya tienen mucho tiempo en la industria, ellos ya sabían que esto no iba a funcionar. Y a pesar de eso, siguieron. Pero bueno, se pueden enfrentar, bueno, se están enfrentando, yo creo, ya muchas represalias de todo, tanto de sus fans como de los que están en contra y de los mismos empleados de Disney, güey.
But even with the huge amount of backlash, something I haven't seen many, if not anyone, talking about is if there were actually other reasons for the Snow White movie being delayed, and possibly even some legal reasons it was delayed, and more importantly, changed and reshot. Because it was a few months ago that we saw Disney was being sued for discrimination against men, and also discrimination against certain political opinions, as Elon Musk personally funded 2 lawsuits against Disney, one being Gina Carano's discrimination lawsuit, and the other one being a civil rights complaint for discrimination against men, with this leaked video of a Disney VP allegedly serving as evidence for this case.
Certainly, there have been times where, there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
How would they say it?
there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
Bueno, pues ahí está. Esa es la Blancanieves moderna. Por andar haciendo sus tonterías, ahora tienen que enfrentarse a esto, güey. Porque, a ver, cuando no se da la supuesta inclusión en las movies, hacen un pinche escándalo, güey. Los progres, los woke, comunidad woke. Y hay problemas. O sea, atacan. Hacen sus campañas y hacen su desmadre. Ahora que ellos están haciendo prácticamente lo mismo, que es discriminar a los hombres, ahora se tienen que enfrentar a las consecuencias. ¡Bravo, Blancanieves moderna! Felicidades, felicidades por tu gran éxito.
Like straight to you, or okay?
They'd be very careful how they message that to agents. We wanted to hire somebody in the department a few years ago now, who was half black, but didn't appear half black. And there was a creative executive who was like, "We're not that's not what's wrong." They wanted somebody in meetings who would appear a certain way, and he wasn't gonna bring that to the meeting.
You know what? Is that actually happened?
Of course it happened. I think this is a reflection of how just.
Oh my God!
And so on first glance, it just seems like a general complaint against the company of Disney, but when we actually look into the entire situation, it seems that the Snow White movie could have played a big role in this case if it were to go to court, as it may represent the current culture of the company and may be used by lawyers to paint a picture that goes against Disney. Because it was exactly around this time that the legal dispute arose that Disney then announced that they were cancelling multiple projects, and were also around that time filming reshoots on the Snow White movie. Now, I have to believe that Disney is smart enough to know that no amount of reshoots on the Snow White movie would be able to save it from its certain doom, but perhaps they had to change specific scenes that could serve against them in court, and that was the reason they did reshoots. Because recently a leaked scene from the Snow White movie has emerged on the internet, and it sparked a massive reaction from people online accusing this scene of sexism.
I don't know if you guys noticed anything different about this scene compared to the original, so I went ahead and made a little clip just to show a side-by-side comparison.
Now you wash the dishes.
Now you wash the dishes.
You tidy up the room.
You tidy up the room.
You clean the fireplace.
You clean those cobwebs.
And I'll use the broom.
And he'll use the broom.
¡Oh! Eso es suficiente, güey, para recibir demandas. Ahí está. Ataque y discriminación a los hombres. ¿Cómo no, señores? Bienvenidos a la realidad a la que ustedes empezaron. Feminismo, woke, progres, izquierda, basura, todo eso.
Just slightly different, isn't it?
Because people are saying, in contrast with the original scene, it shows that Snow White has now been changed into a character that bosses the male dwarfs around, and rather than helping them, she actually just forces them to clean. And people are also saying that through Snow White's tone, she makes out like because they are male, they don't clean or do any work. And now, despite your opinions or mine on
what... Es que eso no está nada fuera de la realidad, güey. Pues así son las bichas viejas modernas hoy, no quieren hacer nada. ¿Está bien? O sea, acorde a su papel. Pero hay consecuencias.
What this scene represents, the fact that it has caused this big of a reaction shows how many people out there view this as discrimination, and how this could have served against them in court as a way of showing the current culture of Disney being against the male gender. Also, it could be coupled with interview clips of Rachel Zegler, where she joked about her male co-star having his scenes removed.
Just a guy in the movie, Andrew Burnap, great dude. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
And lawyers could then try and use this all together to paint a picture against Disney.
There's a big focus on her love story with the guy who literally stalks her.
You clean those cobwebs. He'll use the broom.
She's gonna be safe with the prince, and she's not gonna be dreaming about true love.
Certainly, there have been times where, you know, there's no way we're on it.
Pero todo el punto de las películas de Disney era soñar con el amor verdadero. De todas las personajes, todas las caracteres. ¿Cómo se dice? Caracteres. No me acuerdo. Perdónenme. Sí, de todos los personajes principales. De los female principal characters. Es la idea o el objetivo o el concepto de todos esos personajes es el amor verdadero de todas, de Cenicienta, de Blancanieves, de Ariel, de la Sirenita, incluso de Rapunzel, de todas, güey. Ahora ella misma lo quiere, no lo dudo ni tantito que ella es la que haya cambiado el libreto, güey.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken.
And potentially win the civil rights complaint. And so, what if this leaked scene is actually something that they went back and reshot and changed it from the scene that we saw there to something that's a little more down the middle for the final film? Now, I'm not saying that it is something that they've changed. I'm just simply asking the question. Because I can see that if I was Disney and I had lawyers accusing me of discrimination against men, then I would panic over this scene and I would go back and change it too. Because it's very clear that Disney have been making changes ever since these legal troubles popped up. I mean, we saw the president of Disney, quote unquote, part ways with the company. Then we had the marketing for Deadpool be extremely fan-centric, with it all being focused on how much they want to serve the fans and give them something they enjoy, and not focus on messaging, but just pure fun and entertainment. moment.
Life is hard for a lot of people out there, and it's been that way for a long time. And just for people to walk out of that movie theater feeling like they just had the best 2 hours of their entire life, something that is like unexpectedly moving, but still retains all of that audacity and you know, sort of wild subversion that you come to expect with this character in this world.
Then we also...
Bueno, es el ejemplo, ¿no? Cuando empezaron a atacar el éxito de Deadpool, que estaban peleando, no sé por qué, porque eran mensajes machistas, etcétera, pero no, güey, se estaban enfocando en ellos mismos, no estaban dando ningún mensaje, era todo lo contrario. Los woke, los progres, esos son los que están dando mensajes aquí.
So, of course, saw the biggest announcement of all being Robert Downey Jr. returning to the MCU. So quite clearly, they are in a period of massive change and massive rebranding, so I really don't see it as out of the realm of possibility that Snow White was a part of this change and is playing a role in the rebranding of the company, because the movie is set for disaster at the box office anyway, but one thing they can try to make sure of is that there are no scenes in the movie that can be used by audiences to attack the company once again for discrimination against men. Because the reality is that a good story that doesn't attack or diminish any gender will succeed. And I think Disney have learnt that lesson, especially with Deadpool 3, where the movie had a diverse cast and also had a villain played by a non-binary actor, and the movie wasn't attacked at all, because the movie was just simply fun and entertaining. Also, the villain gave a great performance, and so did the rest of the cast as well, so quite clearly diversity can be achieved without it resulting in hate and so-called review bombing, and Disney just need to find a way to continue that moving forward, and just find a way to please their audiences once again. So if I can give my 2 cents here at the end, it would be to tell good stories and you'll succeed as a company, the way that many diverse projects from the Spider-Verse, even to the MCU Spider-Man trilogy did as well. So quite clearly you can be diverse and still succeed with your movies and succeed as a company, and you won't end up being hit with these discrimination lawsuits.
Bueno, pues obviamente perdieron y se podría decir también que incluso quedaron mal con su propia audiencia. Pero bueno, como dice esta morra, es Hollywood, baby. Es Hollywood, mira. Bueno, tengo un video preparado ahí de la decadencia de Hollywood, que mira, va para abajo. Ya luego se los muestro. Así que señores, dejen en los comentarios qué opinan. Nos vemos en la próxima. Chao.